Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Is it clear there? Could you increase Jagaltara? Hello? Hello? Okay? Right. So almost 2 months, huh? More than 2 months, I suppose. Huh? In the Gita, 3rd chapter, he says, inaction is death. The moment there is no activity and anything, he says, is death. So if you stretch the idea, intellectually or spiritually, if you are inactive, that spiritual aspect of you becomes dead. So irrespective of this exercise we all are in, if some of you have not put in that effort to keep yourselves connected with this knowledge, it is very difficult to enter a certain frequency. I don't know how many of you will have been in touch with the subject. I don't know. See, physically also, if you don't stretch or exercise for a few days, how do you feel physically? Sluggish. Your body becomes like a rock. Immobile. Stretch that concept to the spiritual level. The intellect also has to be exercised with these ideas. So I'm not saying you have done it or not. I'm only saying if you have done it, you are ready for it. But with all due respect to you all, we will get ourselves little warmed up. So I had a very beautiful idea which I'm referring to the two famous ladders in the spiritual field. One is the ladder of fall, another is ladder of rise. Throughout the Shastras, there are these two ladders. The ladder of fall is in the 2nd chapter. Very soon we'll get into the 62nd and the 63rd verse. I'll give the reference to it, no doubt. And then there is the ladder of rise. So the ladder of rise is from the text Bhajagovindam by the great Adi Shankaracharya. It's a beautiful text. So I thought, let's take a reference to them. Just study in little bit of them before we get into the Gita. So at least it helps us get warmed up with these ideas. So the ladder of rise, helping students how to evolve and warning us how, if you are not careful, you can spiritually fall. what is the first step of the spiritual ladder? The first step. Any idea? Now, if I chant the verse, then answer is there in that. So what is the first step one needs to take in the spiritual ladder? The ladder of rise. Prayer, doing karma, duty, chanting. They are all steps. I don't know whether they are the first step or not. As per Adi Shankaracharya, I'm trying to, as I said, I'm trying to get into a specific mantra. The first step in the ladder. Sorry, sir? The will or the desire? Is that what you mean? Okay. Not wrong. I'm not saying right or wrong. Rise up to the occasion. The occasion is a spiritual occasion. Or you want to become spiritually established. So what is the first step? Not wrong. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I get what you're saying. A certain readiness, a certain will, an inclination, a desire to learn, faith, they all go a long way in getting you onto the path. But the famous verse of Adi Shankaracharya is the 9th verse of Bhajagovindam. Please go back and refer to it. Sat sangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan muktihi. Satsangatve, chant along. Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan muktihi. Bhaja govindam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate samprapte san nihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Look at the impact it creates. This is the wisdom. You have to seek. That's why I said every day you have to, little sip of the Ganges you got to drink to cleanse your personality. So, as per the 9th mantra, Adi Shankaracharya says, the first spiritual step is satsangatve. Satsang. The translation is, from the company of the good arises nisangatvam. From satsangatve comes nisangatvam. From the company of the good arises non-attachment. Nisangatve nirmohatvam. From non-attachment arises freedom from delusion. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. From freedom of delusion arises steadfastness. Nischalatatve jivan muktihi. From absolute steadfastness arises liberation in life. So it's a ladder. From satsang, the right company, the good company, comes non-attachment. From non-attachment comes freedom from delusion. From freedom from delusion you get steadfastness. Once you are steadfast in the path, you will get a liberation. This is the ladder. So your spiritual journey begins by Satsang. That's the reason we say this engagement which we are in is called a satsang. Now the word satsang, even though we say satsang means to be in the company of the good, how does it fit into the system of life? Just to explain, how does it become so important? There is the three transactions of life, or the traffic of life. The three transactions are receipt of stimuli. Everything in life, action starts with the receipt. First, the world enters into you through a receipt of stimuli. Having entered, there is a reaction within you, and thereafter there is responses back into the world. So the reaction and the response heavily depends upon what is the receipt. It's like if you were to say, sir, the kurta you are wearing, the fabric is of a very fine quality. If you say this is a fabric of a very fine quality, this is the end product, this is the output. If you want the fabric to be of the best quality, you need to have the raw material of the best quality, isn't it? So the cotton that is put into the machinery has to be of the finest quality. The finest wool, the finest cotton must go in. And then the machines which process these raw material must be of the most sophisticated machine. You can't go back 200 years ago what our ancestors used to use. No. You can use, but then the product will be of that quality. You want the latest quality fabric, the latest machinery must be used. So the processing also must be of the highest order. The raw material must be good, the processing must be good, the end product also must be. Like any moment you buy anything new, what is it that you see? You see the quality, but what do you see along with the product? The new car you're driving, na? When you took delivery of it, what did you find inside? Manual, you know. They would have had few stickers everywhere. Okay, and a tick mark. Quality control. A test to say yes, it is up to their standards. Because this is a product which is dispatched. Is it meet their standards? So this is the traffic of any production, any creation. So this is the traffic of life. Receipt, reaction, response. So if you want to excel in life, you have to take care all the three processes. So the very first process is receipt of stimuli. It means what is the sights you see? What sights are you seeing? What is the stimuli eye sees? What is the sound your ears hear? Are you lending your ears to all rubbish talk, gossiping? So what is the stimuli that is getting into you? What are the kind of emotions you're entertaining? What are the kind of thoughts you're entertaining? This all is the stimuli, the input. So satsang is just not being in a good company. Satsang could be extended to picking up good wherever it is. Satsang is to be in the company of the good at all times. If that is your objective, So is it possible to find any place or an environment or a person who is 100% positive at all times? Are you sure? Very sure, huh? It is everybody. So the world we live in, it is impossible to find a picture perfect world for you out there, isn't it? So there is good and bad and admixture in the world. And as the Mahabharata itself, and it has been traditionally said through time, through history, it is said there is more negative than good in the world in Kali Yuga. So during Krishna's days itself, Kauravas were 100, Pandavas were 5. It is started from then only, no? Ipo Kali Yuga solringa, but even those days they were there, isn't it? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Yeah? Where is it said? Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. A play starts with that. The best of times, the worst of times. It can be the headlines in the Times of India tomorrow morning. The best of times, the worst of times. Charles Dickens writes in the play Tale of Two Cities. It is very much fit to be the headlines tomorrow. Means, what it means is, it has been, the negativity and evil has been an integral part of life of the world. What has been happening is the proportion, less or more. As you rightly say, during the Satya Yuga, there was greater good and less evil. And as time passed on and as we have been devolving, there is more negative out and the positivity is less. So, if you have to be in the satsang, it is just not coming to a place like this. It is to create the right atmosphere or environment where you pick up the positive in every situation. So there is good and bad in every situation. There is good and bad in every individual. Now, satsang is to tap that capacity in you to choose the good in every situation. అర్థమవుతుందా? ఇంగ్లీష్ వస్తుందా? అర్థమవుతుంది కదా? నాకు తెలుగు రాదండి. సో కూర్చుంటారంటే నో కంపల్షన్, మీరు వెళ్ళాలంటే వెళ్ళొచ్చు. సార్ కూర్చోమన్నారు, మీరు కూర్చున్నారు, బట్ యూ హ్యావ్ ద ఫ్రీడమ్. పాపం ఐ ఫీల్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్, మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది కూర్చుంటారంటే కూర్చోండి. యా, గుడ్. Oh, it's going into the mic system, I know. It has to go into his system. No, good. No, I have to be concerned for them. First time they're coming, they shouldn't feel obliged, they should sit through. So there is good and bad in every situation. There is good and bad in every person. So if you have to be, if you are interested in your betterment, you have to pick up the best in the good in every situation. And since negativity is more pronounced, you got to be that much more alert to pick up the good. So that first step itself is a very challenging step. How to pick up the good in every situation, sir? Not easy, isn't it? First step, spiritual sadhana, first step test is it. See, if I put in raw material of a negative quality, it is not going to help me. If I entertain negative thought of a person, if I entertain anything negative of a situation, it's not going to help me in my own betterment. So how? Because it is impossible to get the best thing. So to be able to pick up the good in others, to be able to identify the negativity in oneself as well, so that you keep growing. Now, however best you are, the environment keeps sending certain things to you, isn't it? The world keeps throwing at you. So whatever the world throws at you, it is up to you how do you view it. I'll take 4 scenarios, sir, and please analyze where is it we are. Let's say the input is negative. Somebody is accusing you of something, criticizing you, or gets into an argument with you. The natural output is you respond back in a very negative way, because the stimuli is not encouraging, it is very challenging, you challenge it back. So you also use your emotion, your rage, your anger, your temper, you get into an argument. Square even. Somebody is very kind and courteous to you, very welcoming, very loving. You reciprocate back with all that warmth and love, and you appreciate, you're grateful, you're thankful. Square even. Somebody is positive to you, input is positive, but your reaction is negative. Somebody says, I have gone for a holiday with my family to Europe. Somebody comes, your friend, someone known to you comes and says, we had a wonderful 2-week holiday to Europe. It was lovely, and they are sharing the experience, and you're in your heart of hearts, you are very envious of the fellow. What a pavi. You get very, very angry at him. You are very envious at him. I had that. I wish I could also do that. Why is so life unfair? Why this? Why that? You're not able to feel happy for someone who is sharing his joy with you. Can I say? A positive news comes, your reaction is negative. Now, the last is, a negative input comes, your responses are positive. First thing you go to your work, your boss is throwing tantrums. He started blowing up for no reason. He starts pulling you up for something, and then he starts blowing up on you. Manish, then you realize tomorrow morning, first thing you go, boss is shouting on you. Maybe there is a reason of yours, or maybe there is no reason. But you have to face the brunt, and you can't give it back also. He's your boss. So you simply have to take everything that is thrown at you. Later on, how do you handle that? No, reasoning out is certainly later on, but how do you react at that point? Not that you can show your vent at him, but you will say, he's not like that. He is someone who is a very calm going person. Maybe he has, obviously he must have had a fight with his wife. The reason must be his wife. No, I know you are being very diplomatic, sir. I understand. Amma is sitting next to you, we are being diplomatic. But aprama solunga reality. Chuma solra. No. So I'm just giving an example. It could be something that has been, that triggered him off, or he's affected. So you are able to think from his point of view. As you say, as you put yourself in another man's shoe and think, why, what could be the reason? So the input is negative, you're able to convert it into a positive response. You can't, if you want your job, you better listen to whatever is thrown at you. You give back your peace of mind, then you will be in deeper trouble. So so where do you find yourself mostly? Negative, Welcome. Vanga. Come in the front, sir. So the world is negative to you, you're reciprocating it back in a negative way, nothing great about it. When the world is courteous to you, kind to you, you're being kind to it, nothing great about it. If the world is kind to you and you are negative, there is something seriously wrong with you. But when the world is kind to you and you are, when the world is negative to you, well, that is the very nature of the world. If the world is hard to you, but if you are able to throw back that gesture, one of the greatest qualities one can have is that quality of forgiveness. To be able to forgive someone, it means you are being crushed by the other. Someone crushes you. You are a victim of another person's action or behavior or conduct. And what is your response to that person's action? Somebody has cheated you in business. Somebody has manipulated you. What is your response to it? Later on. But what is your response mentally? The great words of Christ. Father, forgive them. And I'm quoting Christ. He said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. The attitude should be separated from action. The problem in life is when we try to mix attitude and action and we mess up. Sir, the moment I harbor a negative emotion, I'm only talking at the emotional level, I'm talking about the action. I may take a legal course of action against him, but I have mentally forgiven him. They're two different things, so don't mix up these things. If I were to mentally, firstly, keep harboring that negative thought towards him for what he or she has done to me, what would it do to me? What would it do to me? Wouldn't it cause great agony to me? You would suffer sleepless nights. You would be cursing, you would be hurting yourself by you harboring a negative thought. If you don't believe in that, entertain it and see what happens. Someone you hate most, someone has done something wrong to you, entertain a negative thought and keep harboring the thought and see what happens to you. It is not going to comfort you. Certainly not. So to keep your own peace, to keep your own happiness, for your own betterment, for your own good, you should not harbor any negativity as much as possible. For your good, irrespective of what the world does to you, it is what you throw back to the world. The world could be hard at you, but you give it back, with a grace. We are just, in fact, we are coming back after a couple of months. So, we just referred to a section in the scriptures, refers to the great verse by Adi Shankaracharya, text Bhajagovindam, where we're talking about the two ladders. The ladder of rise of a human being, the ladder of fall. The ladder of rise, he says, the first spiritual step is satsang. So we're just analyzing. Satsang is not just being in the good company. because it is impossible to find yourself in any situation where you will get good all the time. Impossible. You will never get a good person unless you are with a man of realization, which is very rare indeed. You are very fortunate to have a man of perfection around you. So you will find yourself in situation where there is imperfection all around. So how to be in the right company is to pick up the good wherever you are. So if I am interacting with you, I see the goodness in you. If I am interacting with Manish, I take whatever good is there in Manish. When I am with Krishnamurti Garu, whatever good is in him, I take. Wherever I am only picking up the good everywhere. So what is happening as far as I am concerned? I am in the wonderful company of all the good. So that is the best satsang I can be in, isn't it? Satsang is not going to a temple, church or a mosque. It is not that. You should do that, yeah. But you will go to the temple and you will start gossiping there. Common point where all you could meet. You can get into a service institution and get caught up in politics. What is the purpose of getting into an organization? You want to serve. What does it matter what post you have? What does it matter whether your work is recognized or not? How does it matter anything else but an opportunity to serve? You might lose your focus. So when you get established in satsang, satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam. So from satsang comes nisangatvam. Now from the company of the good arises non-attachment. Non-attachment to what? Sorry? Non-attachment. See, the tendency of the mind, if you analyze, the tendency of the mind is to develop an attachment. Again, another famous words of Shankaracharya. Balastavat kridasaktah tarunastavat tarunisaktah vruddhastavat chintasaktah parame brahmani kopinasaktah. You can feel pardonable, you can forgive a child for playing with the toys. Balastavat kridasaktah. You let the child play with the toys, don't you? And then he says, Tarunastavat tarunisaktah. A youth is caught up in passion. An elder person, the grandfather in the house, sees the kid passionate of many things, running behind. He is still passionate, you understand, and leave him. Vruddhastavat chintasaktah. When you see somebody worrying too much, that is a sign you already got old. Remember that. If you are not worrying, that means you are not old yet. Vruddhastavat chintasaktah. Unnecessary chinta, something or other. Hope, abhilasha, reaches the airport on time. Hope he catches the flight on time. If you are worrying, you are already old already. Solving. So from the association of the good, the next step is you develop a sense of non-attachment, which is detachment. And the other thing very important to understand is wherever there is a level of attachment, there is the consequence of attachment one pays. Manish, tell me what happens if you are attached to anything. Before that, do you know what is the law of attachment? Anyone? What is that? What is attachment? What is a law? Something which is your own. Okay. Anybody else? What is attachment? What do you got to do? Something you like, you want to possess it, you want to keep it with you all the time. You detest it, there's a detachment to that, yes, not wrong. So attachment in effect is samsara. In fact, after you get attached, you create a samsara. You see, if you live a life of detachment, there is no samsara, no? You see, attachment means trouble. So, attachment, the law of attachment, Jayaraman, what's the law of attachment? You will be given last chance, as I told you. Krishnamurthy Garu, what is law of attachment? What happens thereafter? But what is that law of attachment? It creates dependence. See, the law, why I am just being technically so that you understand it in its wholesomeness. Sorry, ma? Oh yes, you're not free, certainly. So attachment is as you think, so you become. This is law. Brackets. As you think, so you become. So attachment is that which keeps consuming your mental energies. You constantly keep thinking about it, you constantly are consumed by it, you constantly are thinking about it, as a result of which what happens, sir? You become